E equals mc squared is a famous equation discovered by Albert Einstein. It relates to the relationship between mass, m, and energy, E. The equation means that energy, E, is equal to the mass, m, of an object times the speed of light, c, squared. This means that mass and energy are actually two different forms of the same thing, and can be converted into one another. To put it in simpler terms, think of a lump of coal. Coal has mass, but it also contains a lot of stored energy in the form of chemical bonds between the carbon atoms. When we burn the coal, the energy stored in those bonds is released in the form of heat and light. This means that the mass of the coal has been converted into energy. Similarly, nuclear power plants use a process called nuclear fission to convert the mass of uranium atoms into energy. This process releases a tremendous amount of energy, which can be used to generate electricity. The equation E equals mc squared does not mean that you need to square the mass, in a mathematical sense. Instead, it means that you need to multiply the mass of an object, m, by the speed of light, c squared, in order to calculate the amount of energy, E, that is equivalent to that mass. The speed of light, c, is a very large number, about 299,792,458 meters per second, so when you square it, the resulting number is even larger. This means that even a small amount of mass can potentially contain a huge amount of energy, as described by the equation. To calculate the amount of energy, E, that is equivalent to a given amount of mass, m, you can use the formula E equals m*c squared. For example, if you had a mass of 1 kilogram, you would multiply it by the speed of light squared, about 9 × 10 to the power of 16, to get the amount of energy that is equivalent to that mass. The resulting energy would be about 9 × 10 to the 16 joules. So, to clarify, you don't need to square the mass, in a mathematical sense, but rather multiply it by the speed of light squared to calculate the amount of energy that is equivalent to that mass. So, in summary, the equation E equals mc squared tells us that mass and energy are two sides of the same coin, and can be converted into one another.